Alright, we're recording.
Recording.
We begin with the best part of any class session. The long rest.
The too long rest. The eternal rest. So we begin. Welcome to session number 9 of Strahd, Calenites in Barovia. When last we left our heroes...
Oh, it says here carryover inspiration?
Yes.
Oh, me
I
too.
think 2 people got it.
Yeah,
You?
me.
You. Okay, got it.
It's here.
What did we accomplish last session? What did we agree upon? What course of action have you decided to take last session?
Someone left with the burgomaster.
Oh,
We
God.
saved the entire festival from...
Save the entire festival. An epic show, an epic show of magic. These are your lives now.
Right,
You're using your phenomenal cosmic power to make people's events work.
right? Event management.
So,
Sounds so mundane.
Not
I
here,
mean,
please.
Man, I can cure cancer, but I just go and fix events and shit.
yeah, here I am saving the Burgomaster's event because indeed
It saves lives.
it rained. It literally rained on the Burgomaster's
Make it
parade,
rain.
and you literally saved somebody's life by by drawing his attention to making to setting fire to the Wickerman.
Soldier's expression was one of the best things, was the best progressions.
Yeah.
Could have been a GIF, man.
As he
That guard is so fired
yeah,
now.
as beyond fired, as he guffawed and realized too late his mistake, fleeing secretly into the crowd
Right.
as you made an effort to bring all eyes and ears back to the events of the festival. Banya stirring up the band once more, as they had so shocked were they that somebody dared laugh at the Burgomaster that they had stopped playing. And with Seigi using his magical prowess in order to increase the visual impact of the non-existent flame, which that took about 2 or 3 hours in order to get going. And so sort of this falls festival occurred, people eating and pretending to be happy while being drenched in the rain.
So for the VIP area,
Yeah.
it was covered.
Yeah, it was it's only your area, the area reserved specifically for the Burgomaster, that was relatively dry and comfortable, where these hay bales draped over with tarps created these lounge seats for you to yeah. The life of the rich and famous. Yeah. So a few things did happen in secret though. Esvel paid a little visit to some unsuspecting stable masters.
Oh,
Stable
yeah.
masters.
So cool.
One
People.
Pankov Yegorovich and his wife Olyesa.
Oh, boy.
When he
Man, she needs therapy so bad.
she came in with no obvious intent, finally catching Pankov and Olyesa in their lies, forcing the truth from them, and then mercilessly punishing Pankov, leaving Olyesa to ruminate about what she's done, walking off, rejoining her party mates without anyone the wiser so far.
It's like, okay, let me just dip my glaive in the horse trough. Okay, it's clean now, let's go.
Yeah. Did you really wash your glaive in the horse trough?
yeah.
Okay,
They're gonna be vampiric horses.
Some extra...
When we ride it,
some
suddenly they
extra
bite our
iron
necks.
never hurt anybody.
What the
Some
fuck?
extra iron never hurt anybody.
Yeah, they grow bat wings for ears.
But they have flat teeth.
Not after.
It's flat, but there are 2 protruding points.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay. You came to the conclusion that perhaps you would use Erwin Martikov's
Ravens.
ravens. Yes.
To scout around.
Scout around. You wanted to look for Arabelle via the radio network, and so
Social media
Erwin.
ravens.
Erwin offered to keep an eye out for you to try and send his ravens to see what he could see, given the description of what you had initiated.
It's a good thing that fair-haired Vistani are very uncommon.
Yeah, fair hair for the Vistani are quite uncommon. What else?
We learned that there was another noble house, and despite all the horrors happening, there is always room for politics.
House Factor.
Factor, yes. House
Yeah, we're
Factor.
being stalked.
Yeah, you were being stalked by an agent of House Factor.
Ernst Larna.
Prince Larna, correct. He seems well. The burgomaster doesn't appear. The burgomaster doesn't appear protrude necessarily, and it seems fairly. It would seem fairly normal for him that Ernst would want to know what you guys are up to, given your very public. The very public favor that the burgomaster has been showering you with. Because the Vacker House's arrival.
Oh, I have a job offer.
Yeah, oh yeah, and that. Yeah, the burgomaster has offered you a permanent seat in office in Valakovich because of all of the help and aid that you've most especially that you helped him save face in the
Event management.
events management.
Flexi time.
Sorry.
Do I have
offers
leaves? I
my
don't
healthcare pa.
No, it's okay. I don't take leaves.
We also discovered that this is not something that this has happened before.
Yes, it's
Kamen Rider.
within living memory. It might be the second time that it's happened before.
A Kamen Rider was also offered a job opportunity by
Yeah.
a burgomaster in Valiant.
Indeed. And before that, the Victor Valakovich's great grandfather was also a foreigner, second to the burgomaster at that time, who grew so close to the family that he successfully managed to marry in. And speaking of the great grandfather, his journal is with Banya, but and he gave it to von Richten to study tonight.
I mean, after the first night's babysitting the dog, can't handle the life of a scholarly single dad. No.
Oh,
So-
I've been teaching Shori to
How to
read.
read? Yeah, you just been teaching Shoei how to read.
The daddy never.
And you paid in advance the Valakoviches, you sponsored them in order to continue his studies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, given that, have I missed
And-
anything significant?
The Mad Mordecai is the Mad Mage.
There you go.
Right. Holy
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah.
The next
Man, he has so many enemies. He has an entire tome of foes.
Indead.
More than
Mordekainen's Mordekainen,
Not sponsored by.
a legendary hero of the plane Oworth, metal-wise, I guess you would know, but not in character. Almost a demigod-like adventurer from his plane sought to bring Strahd down a year ago, and failed miserably. Ultimately, being driven insane, thought dead, rumored to be insane at the base of Mount Baratok.
If anything, this offers a really good perspective of what we're up against.
But we don't know how strong he is.
Who?
Mordecai.
Mordekainen.
But I mean,
As far as we know, he's just a mage from another world.
I mean, he was a demigod in his plane, meta-wise. So, no, actually, it was mentioned by.
It was mentioned by
Von
von Richten that he thought it was hubris he felt that brought Mordekainen down, because he was demigod he was almost a demigod in his plane, so he thought that he might have the magical might necessary to take on Strahd on his own.
But you still.
So he raised the army largely just to get into.
Never solo raid boss guy.
Yeah. He split the party.
However, there's a reason that he's from the circle of 8, not the circle of 1,
Yep.
and so
Exactly.
he.
Take note, guys.
So if I haven't missed anything else,
Oh,
yeah, go.
my new best friend is now no longer in the burgomaster wife's dressing room. It's stored away because
Been sent to
now they know
storage.
that it's been sent to
there's
storage.
something.
Maybe it's the wife who lost the mirror.
Because it was handed down by the grandfather. So it's kind of a family asset.
There's a man in
I
her mirror.
know! It's so weird.
Like, imagine when she's dressing up. How do I look in this dress? And then,
The guy would just
the
be
guy
like,
answers you.
no wonder he wants to kill people.
The guy answers is, Blood, do you have blood? When was the last time you killed someone? No, but how is this dress? Is what I'm asking you.
I mean, this dress is red, so maybe it looks like.
Anyway, yeah. So you're the man in the mirror. Actually, when you I'm gonna steal it. When you brought up that there might be a person in the mirror, actually, it was the first time that the Burgomaster had heard of it. It's not something that was immediately familiar to him.
Although I do recall that he mentioned there have been people who have mentioned it, but he didn't believe it.
Yeah, he said he'd dismiss it, but upon recommendation from Seigi, he decided to take it seriously. So he said, okay, if there really is a person in that mirror, then it's obviously not something that I want out in the open, so I'll have to put it started. So he has it.
Please do not hurt. Not at least until I know the way to bring my best friend.
Anything else at all?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm still married.
You're still married.
Martin is if you insist.
Okay, so with that, we go into tonight's long rest.
The most eventful part of the day.
So far, your days have been safe. It's the nights that are that are dangerous.
What you body part for all of you.
We begin at about 9 p.m. About
Where are we sleeping?
about the end of
The
this
church stuff.
the church. About 9 p.m. we end at 9 p.m. at St. Andrew's Church. You are about to take your long rest.
There's more ice.
Do you know who is taking which watch?
I
Or
remember
what order
taking-
you're taking your watches in?
I'll just take first. If it
First.
hasn't been decided yet.
Okay,
Go
Sadie
for it.
first. Second.
I can take second.
I'll take
I'll
last.
second.
Sure.
I'll
Oh,
take
yeah.
third.
Sure.
That's third. Okay.
All this music.
Okay. Seigi, your what are you doing? Anything special for your watch?
I am going to check for any new pages first. But if nothing comes up or nothing starts writing itself on the pages, I'm going to start. I'm gonna start. What do you call this? I'm gonna start and take notes on the nature of curses,
Okay.
and I will ruminate on whatever power has been gifted to me by justice and see if I can come up with a way to dispel or remove.
Excellent. Yeah. I get what you're going for. You go over it. Thankfully, Von Richten is awake at this time of night, primarily because he's set to the task now of reading.
Going through the journal.
He's going through the journal. So you're there as the two of you. In a very sort of scholarly manner, sitting across from each other in the church, reading through your journals. You often might pitch an idea to him, and then he comes back to you about many curses that he's encountered.
There's a lot of quiet moments.
Yeah. Yeah. It's largely long periods of silence, followed by Von Richten, what do you think about? And then you interject about this form of curse or another, and then he lends some of his expertise to you, and between the two of you together, you formulate a means to channel your magic in to sort of disrupt the web or the matrix of the magical matrix of how a curse latches onto you and what holds its structure together. Though he does mention that. I just got checked if what I'm about to say is true.
Fake news.
Oh my god.
It's a little
Okay.
melted. It's a little melted.
Okay.
You know.
So he mentions to you some curses are more powerful than others. He too has the ability to remove curses. But in his experience, many of them are beyond even him, and it does take a certain level of ability in order to remove them. sometimes with the aid of artifacts or sources of fonts of magical power, or fetishes fetishes with affinity to the creature that cast the curse in the first place. Things of that to sort of to amplify the power of the removal. But for the most part, the ability to remove curses has served him well, and he fully endorses that you are
That I learned this.
that you're learning yours.
I thank him for it, and I say, well, given that I'm new in this ability, I will not try for fear of it spreading to me. Especially, I don't want to have to annul my marriage to someone.
He cracks the rare smile. You suspect largely because it's just the two of you. And he says, if nothing else, I respect your tenacity. And you.
I mean, I say, Strahd wouldn't dare claim a married woman. I hope.
He says, you've got 4 more years to stay before you can truly claim to such status. I've seen him do much worse. And you set your eyes to your journal, and you find a new entry.
Very nice. Really funny.
What? Just in between, because I would be watching around also, but before when Banya relieves my post, I will read it. I'm on duty. So.
Okay. So you read just before sleep when Banya's thinking.
Like I take a peek and then I see, oh, okay, and then I'll get to you later.
Okay. All right. We'll go to Banya first, and I'll come back to you to ask you if you do anything given the knowledge of your letter or something. Okay. So, Banya, is there something that you would like to do in your long rest?
I'll just ask if I see that Von Richten is still awake. I'll ask him just casually if he's made any if there's anything noteworthy he picked up. Because I did specify that I'm looking in particular for a song.
Okay. Now would be, I guess, a good opportunity because he is transitioning now. He seems to be wrapping up with his studies and about to be going to bed now. So for the meantime, while your shifts sort of overlap, that's the case.
Oh, sorry.
While your shifts overlap, he shares with you what he has learned. He says the owner of the journal is one Roman Volakovich, an arch-wizard.
The grandfather forward.
It appears that he thwarted an assassination attempt by trapping an assassin in the mirror. He suspects that the assassin was sent by a secret society named Baal Verzi.
How do you spell that?
B-A-apostrophe-A-L space Victor Echo Romeo Zulu India.
Victor Echo Romeo Zulu
India.
Verzi, okay.
Verzi. Baal Verzi. I have not heard of such an organization, but then I suspect that they must be quite skilled. It also talks about him having given up hope of leaving Barovia. It speaks of the melancholy of him opting to make a comfortable living for himself here. While he was here, he settled for aiding fellow adventurers in his time as the burgomaster's husband, the burgomistress's husband. Whenever foreigners would come through, he would do his best to grant assistance to them. He used to delve into study of the history of Barovia. In his studies, he discovered allusions to a vault of ancient power that predates even Strahd's rule of Barovia. He's learned nothing of it other than its name, the Amber Temple.
The what?
The Amber Temple.
Amber Temple. Okay. The ancient power that predates Barovia. Then you will ask if this is if this seems to be connected to the
Mount Gapis.
Mount Gapis.
Indeed. indeed, the references of it in his journal seem to indicate that it might be in the same general direction, leading me to draw the conclusion that it must be one and the same, or if not, made by similar power.
Wow.
He never sought out the temple in his living days, largely because of his new responsibilities to Valaki and his dedication to well, ultimately he had given up hope, and he saw no reason to seek after it.
He's made himself comfortable here already.
You asked me to search for the words of a song.
Right.
He says there is a song that is mentioned here. There is only one refrain, but it was concocted by a Roman in order to free the creature in the mirror. He says, if I am reading the arcane sigils correctly, if these words are sung to the mirror from within 5 feet of it, while staring at your own reflection, it will release the creature in the mirror. Magic mirror on the wall. Summon forth your shade.
Summon forth your shade.
Night's dark vengeance, heed my call.
Night's dark vengeance, heed my call.
And wield your murderous blade.
Assassinate me.
Night's
Reflect on your
dark
actions.
vengeance. What was it? Night's dark. What was the third line? Night's dark vengeance.
Heed my call.
Heed my call.
So it's 4 lines. Magic mirror on the wall,
Summon
forth your shade. Night's dark vengeance, heed my call, and wield your murderous blade.
Did it make any mention? Because the only thing I know so far is that it's an assassin from the order of some Verzi. But you call it a creature. Did it make any mention of what particular creature that thing might be?
I suspect that the creature was not entirely human when it came to assassinate him, as he was himself a mage of great power. They might have sent something that would be capable of inflicting harm upon him. A skilled individual, perhaps I suspect perhaps a creature imbued with some dark power.
It did ask for blood. I wouldn't put past being a vampire.
He could be like that.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm saying, but not all. I mean, you don't have to necessarily be a vampire to, I guess. But anyway.
The way that this enchantment is worded is that it does require the summoned creature to heed an order.
Vanya looks visibly hopeful at this.
He says, however,
Stay the bakers.
However, I would advise caution. As trafficking with such creatures can have an adverse effect on your own soul. Just from personal experience, I suppose.
If I have nothing else, it's either this or I expire pretty quick. But I appreciate it. From an ally.
Business partner.
He says, I will allow you to make your own decision on this. I've given the most advice that I could seek to give you. Is there anything else that you require from me?
Let's see. Have you ever? He mentioned that he's not familiar with Baal Verzi.
He was not familiar with Baal Verzi.
Am I? Is it anything I might have heard of?
Well, I guess
because I
you
live in a shady part of.
She's the black. Black.
They both black.
But this one, they do.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is a history check.
Oh, yeah, Jack of all trades.
Yeah, 22.
22. I don't think it's something that would be within the realm of your experience.
All right.
Baal Verzi. He says, I have not heard of it either. I suspect that if it occurred within the realm of Barovia, that it might be local to Barovia. But I have no evidence to support it. It's all conjecture.
Oh, alright. Nothing on the kind of assassination target either. Other than that, it was a powerful being.
Assassin or the assassin target?
Assassination target.
That would be Roman.
Oh, it
It was
was.
sent to kill Roman.
Oh.
And then Roman, in his defense, trapped the creature in the mirror.
Now, why of all people would an assassin want to kill? And you said that Roman was affiliated with Valyakovich.
When he married into their family, yes.
Did it indicate when the assassination happened? Was he already integrated into the Valyakovich?
Yes, he was already married by then.
Kind of narrows it down, but alright. Thanks.
Very well. Says I will leave you to your own devices. I must get some rest.
Alright. Oh, there were no musical bars or anything, were there?
No.
Just the lyrics
It's
of
a
the
song.
song.
No, it was indicated only that it must be sung. There was nothing to indicate what sort of song might be sung from it.
Alright.
Ito na, make your own tune.
I'll just say, I'll turn away and say, I'll let you rest. Have a good night's sleep as much as you can. And then, now that I have what I'm looking for, I'll take Doll out of my pack. Is there anything new to his posture?
No, he's exactly the same posture you left him in.
Alright. It must be because he can move now. So, I'll turn him on. I'll sit down, I'll put myself in a place where I can visibly see the rest of the party, preferably someplace with a little more light so I can see things more clearly even though I've got vision, and then I'll turn it on. That's ominous.
Okay. You turn Doll on, and as he has in the past, his head spins as he winds up, and then stops and jolts to a sudden stop as he faces you directly, and then animated as he just slowly sort of tilts his head and then raises his arms up for a hug.
I go like,
All right, and then are you holding him out, or is he on the ground, or how is
I
it?
set him on the ground, then I'm cross-legged in front of him.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I'd be eye level.
Oh, you're cross-legged. Okay, yeah. So he jumps into your arms and wraps his arms around your neck.
I immediately check to see if there's any tightening around my neck.
It's quite tight. It's definitely not a child's hug. It's not the strength of a child.
Of a regular child.
But it is. You can sort of feel the blood sort of begin to build in your forehead and along your veins here. But he is not. There's no obvious intent to try and kill you.
Ah, okay. That is the most important thing.
No.
I'll just say, ease up, ease up, ease up.
Yeah, so he releases you, and then he does a little pirouette, and then he begins to dance and prance through the church. Well, I suspect that you're holding watch inside of the church, right?
I'm sorry, what?
You're holding watch inside of the church?
Inside of the church.
So he climbs and clambers over the pews and over and under the pews, climbing up onto the podium in the very center, doing a little bit of a dance. He's generally just enjoying himself. He's frolicking, as it were.
As long as I will, because in mostly to maintain some level of defense and sanity, Vanya is going to look at this as if he was taking care of an actual child. Never mind if it's a very elaborate construct. He's gonna call out, "Hey, don't make too much noise. People are sleeping."
Okay, so his hands completely outwards, him sort of with reckless abandon, he runs through the aisle of the church, and then when you tell him to shush, he does an exaggerated sneaking gesture, and
That's
then he
so
sort of
weirdly
tiptoes.
cute.
Actually, I still have parchment on me. I will take out another cleaning sheet because I suspect the first one is completely over. And then I'll call him over.
He runs over to you.
And I'll tell them to sit down. I'll put the paper in front of him, and because I know how this went the last time, I will put the pen in his hand, and I will again write "Hello" in Shumori on the upper corner of the page.
Okay. He writes it, but the characters are mirrored. on the other side. So if you were, so for example, writing it in English, it would be hello, ole. So he
Oh.
writes it on the other side of where you've written it.
I'm going to write.
Like any demon thing, it speaks backwards.
I'm going to write my name. My full name.
Headspace, talks backwards.
I'm going to write. My name is Vanya Kaluwar Inshamori.
Okay. He does exactly the same thing. And the entire sentence is written forwards to back on the opposite side of the page.
I will look at him and I'll say, "No, you're supposed to write your name."
He takes the parchment and then he draws a line and then a very large and elliptical arc that goes up and then down, connects. And then he looks up to you as if asking a question.
Vanya, go to school.
What does he write?
He draws.
It looks like a
line
tombstone.
across, and then a
Calling.
long elliptical arc that connects the ends of both lines.
You ask for him.
In a strangled, squeaky voice, Vanya asks, "You're telling me you're dead, kid?"
And then inside of it, he begins to draw sort of childish stick figure with long sort of shaggy hair, but most noticeably 2 ears atop as he goes. And then he looks back up to you.
I'll just... I'm like, "Dog, do you want me dead?"
He just hugs you.
What? Vanya's ears droop under his bandana. He takes off the bandana and is like,
It's actually a nipa hat.
And then he draws. He takes the quill that you've given him, sort of fisted now rather than.
when the moment I notice he takes it in a fist, I tense up.
And then he stabs a jagged line across the entire thing, as if the whole image is now cracked. And then he pinches the parchment, tears it off, and gives it to you.
Damn it, I did not take revival fire.
I say,
So now you can see that the crack definitely just goes through only the image itself, and the piece of the parchment that he's ripped off is from the actual image.
and he still has that happy smile on his face. So, that makes me feel hopeful, or is it just me? It's like, okay, I don't know.
Possibly if there are any resources.
Nice! Way to play on my feelings, man.
It's fine.
This is
But,
the bed
okay,
I
I'll
make
just-
for Stefan.
I'd like to shapeshift back into a fox.
Mm.
I'll pet him on his head, and then I'll
As a fox
shapeshift-
or okay.
and then I'll shapeshift into a fox, and then I'll just start openly sniffing him around. How does he react?
His shoulders and diaphragm just begin to shake, vibrate, but no sound comes out, and you can just sort of hear the gears just jaggedly clicking from inside of him. And there is just a hoarse breath that just comes out of his mouth and orifice, basically, and just sort of a little bit of dust. He sort of lands on his back and he just goes
It's
as he's holding his belly.
Oh, what it's
laughing at
it's
you.
laughing. Oh, I was like, okay. If it doesn't look like he is broken, he's just still spasming or something.
When you stop, he stops. He recovers himself.
Wow. Okay. Does he smell like anything other than what I know are under the cherry blossoms?
Nothing new. It doesn't smell like anything new. Very good. Smells
Decaying
like,
spinal cords.
smells like spinal fluid.
Alright. There's nothing new. I'll still in my fast form, I'll just have him go around. I'll just have him stay with the parchment. Because I can talk. I'll say, you stay there. Just with my call. You just stay there. You just keep drawing a bit. I'm just going to look around. But you stay there first. And then in my fast form, I'd like to go around. I'd like to make a round around the church. See if I can pick up any sense. Because now that I am openly in my fast form, I can at least sniff it.
As you're about to leave, he grabs onto your tail just to keep you from going, and then when you turn back around, he takes his drawing back and then sort of offers it to you.
My what?
The drawing.
The drawing? Oh, what did he do?
He just offers it to you, and
What?
then he tears another piece,
You have to
and
take
he offers it to you again.
What was the drawing?
The same drawing as he gave to you earlier.
Another.
The future.
It's the same drawing. It's the same drawing. It's just that you haven't taken it, so it's with him currently, and so he's offering it to you again, and then he tears off another piece and gives it to you.
And then, okay. If I were in a tombstone, that'd be very bad. But because I put the jagged line through it, it seems like he's trying not to get me dead. Something like that. I'll tell him, I'm not agreeing to anything. Am I gonna be agreeing to anything if I take that?
It just tilts his head.
Of course he would. I will sit down, and then I will hold out my... I have no...
It looks to you, and then holding one piece and holding the whole.
I will bite the paper.
The paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he gives you the paper, and then he takes the piece. He puts it just in his suspenders.
Oh, it has clothes.
Yeah, he's always that close.
I was naked the entire time when I was posing dolls.
Damn it. I was like,
Wait, the tombstone drawing was split in half?
or he did another
He
picture.
took a piece out.
He didn't draw another one. He just
He
it's the
took
same
a
one.
piece
He
of it.
tore from the
I thought he tore the whole thing, but alright.
No, he tore a piece of it from the image and then gave it to you the first time. And then the second time you still hadn't taken anything, so he tore another piece from it and then offered you one or the other, and you took the whole rather than the piece.
What, with the thing still in my mouth, with my spit just absorbing through the paper, I go, good, I'm not gonna agree to anything if I don't know what I'm agreeing to. So unless you start explaining stuff to me, I ain't saying yes to anything.
Okay.
This is
So-
my paper anyway. So I'll just go around with the paper in my mouth and start sniffing.
Yeah. He pats you as you go off, and then when you're sniffing, you can hear him rummaging through all of the areas now. Just at some point, you see him sort of climbing a pillar and looking down, and then he makes it all the way up to like almost the torches the candles that are sort of lit around.
Don't get yourself on fire!
Yeah. So go ahead and make a perception check.
Advantage.
Like many things, it doesn't.
Oh, this one is hot. 17, so that's perception. 17 plus 4, 21.
21. Okay. You sense nothing out of the ordinary.
Alright.
You're fine.
21. No singe smells, no sickly sweet honey smells.
None.
All good.
Okay.
When that's done, I'll just sit back into my usual spot. Make Doll sit next to me again in the drop. No need to get him to the end. But before the end of my shift, I'll tell him that I will be turning him off again because we are going to sleep.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. He.
Yeah. The button, there's a button under your shirt. You press it to turn on and off.
Not that it's stopped him from moving before.
But I'm hoping that this time, because there is a time he knows he'll be on,
Yeah.
it'll
Yeah.
encourage him to
Yeah.
not just go
Yeah,
on suddenly.
Yeah, you're
Hope is a precious gift.
you're letting him vent his energy, is what you're saying. So
Yeah.
That, so that he doesn't spend it
doesn't
when you
get pent up.
inappropriate. Yeah, doesn't get pent up. Yeah. Let's go.
Important.
Let's go.
I would have read this prior.
Yeah. Anything in particular that it causes you to want to do or anything, or you'll just go to sleep right after?
I I close the book and I hide it deep in my pack. And then
Yeah, you can just hear the background sounds of the doll running through, obviously causing some sort of an issue with Banya, but you know by this point that they do this every.
At some point, I'd probably be chasing him in my class.
Yeah.
but I start
So cute.
I
Weird.
start shuddering a little bit. But then it's actually laughter, and it gets louder and enough to fill probably the loudest laugh I've ever bellowed, and that echoes throughout the entire church.
Anyone who'd be seeing Banya would have see all his fur stand on end, and then he instantly shifts back with his short out. Like, what the fuck?
Okay, yeah. A deeply disturbing sound resonates through. Laughter of such mania that it could not be possibly mistaken for mirth. Seigi seems to be caught in a complete fit.
Because I know this happened to me before. I'm just going to run up to him. Like, what did you see? What did you do? What did you read?
I calm down and I say, I'm going to bed.
I make a quick sniff, anything sickly sweet honey,
Sniff.
Okay, yeah, you can go to yourself.
anything that smells like Gertrude's mom. Can I smell madness? 15.
You have advantage?
15.
No,
I should
Oh, you're
shift
not
it back.
a fox.
because that way I can have my swords out.
So, you, it confuses you. It would have felt safer if you did smell the scent of Faye, but you did not. There doesn't seem to be an indication that he is Faye touched at the moment.
Kamen Rider, are you sure you're okay?
I've never felt that.
I approach Seigi and I say, what was that? What happened?
You woke up the redhead.
But are we all aware?
You can choose to wake up if you want. I mean, it was loud and unusual and kind of jarring.
Seigi?
I mean,
Oh,
him
this is
smiling
so
is one
funny.
thing, and then
I just read something from the funny pages.
From the funny pages.
Yes.
What was it about?
something new from your journal. It's the only thing you ever read now.
You're reading funny pages in the middle of the night? Are you alright?
I've never felt better. Go back to sleep.
Seigi,
Does he look
I
like?
say to him,
What does he look like?
we're
Or-
in a very strange land, and I think it would be better for all of us to be open, and maybe an open communication between each of us. Since we're like sticking out together here, just we're just foreigners around in a foreign land.
I say,
It would be better if each of us is aware of whatever is happening to or especially strange things that might be like haunting
I say,
any of us.
it's not magical of any sort. Just a bite of irony from something I read. It's something completely personal, similar in similar in what you receive at night. But it's something I just found absolutely hysterical. It's nothing magical of any sort. Not any kind of madness in any way.
When he says not any kind of madness, I'd like to roll
Can
insight.
I?
Yeah, I'd like
guess
to
we-
roll
Sure.
insight on that.
19.
21.
13.
Go ahead and roll me a check. Don't say what it is. Just roll the check.
Not even well, I suppose it's
Don't say it's going to be perception or deception, but persuasion or deception, but it's not. But don't announce what it is.
11.
11. Okay. What did you roll?
13.
13. Okay. What do they sense from you?
I am as that it's obvious I don't want to tell that what the contents of the funny pages would be, but I wasn't lying about everything else.
Okay. So, you suspect that whatever it might be might indeed be deeply of a deeply personal nature. You suspect no, other than what the plane has already presented to you. You suspect no emerging magical threat.
I
if
suppose
that's what you're
I
looking
suppose they would also sense satisfaction in there.
Okay. So, is it fair to say that it's sort of a dark indulgence, perhaps
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like you're okay?
So,
Yeah,
like,
so yeah, you sense perhaps a little bit of just the way his eyes are set and how the mirth that still tugs at the edges of his mouth contrasts the hardness in his eyes. It tells you a little bit of some malintention, some cruelty, some catharsis that seems to derive from therein. It speaks to a darker nature, but you can't put your finger in exactly what it might be.
I'll ask him point blank. You know where he is?
I'm still looking.
Alright. Good night, guys. I'll put doll back in my pack. I'll tuck doll back in my pack, and then I'll just go straight to bed.
Alright, right. People go back to bed.
I don't sleep next to my wife.
Pardon?
I don't sleep next to my wife.
Okay.
I never did. We
never
never
consummated
consummated.
your marriage.
So conservative.
Before he sleeps, I say, you may say that it's not magical in nature, but do take note that these dark gifts, they seem to be tugging at our whatever past or whatever is connected to us. So it may be a personal issue for you, whatever it is, but hopefully you can open up to the party, once you're comfortable with it. But sure, I'll respect your space.
I appreciate that. Perhaps in time.
Have a good rest.
Oh, I will have the best rest I've ever had.
So, prior to Seiki waking up, yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
You go back to rest. This happens very early, actually, in Banya's watch, because Seiki was still up reading. Everyone goes back to sleep. Banya's watch continues on. Esrel, you will dream.
Is it?
Is before,
Is after this.
after that. So before I go back to sleep, keep it down next time. Keep that creepy little piece of shit away from me.
You know, I agree with Sonia. I immediately start setting myself for math.
What am I saying? Yeah, so
Madness.
I look at your judgmental eyes and
Madness is not a curse.
You seem to see something under the bandana look visibly, and I'll just hunch over and I'll just go back.
that's
Yeah.
right.
as well, you find yourself once more in St. Andrew's Church, or at least a version of it, run down, abandoned, quiet, dark and gloomy. The moonlight outside sort of suffused, primarily because of the cloud cover. It seems to be almost a full moon outside, behind a thin layer of cloud cover, which just sort of lends this eerie iridescence to all things. Everything is in this blue, gray, silver light. You find yourself once more inside of St. Andrew's Church. It's completely quiet. A knock upon the window. A knock upon the window draws your attention. And there you see Emilia.
It's her again.
Emilia, as you recall, sort of now deathly white, and her hair just her hair.
Does she look
just-
worse than before?
Quite the opposite, actually. She looks better. In fact, where prior she was,
Really?
blood had been clotting from, having been pouring out of both eyes and beginning to sort of clot on the surface of her flesh. You note that half of her face is somewhat restored. She's still deathly pale.
Okay.
She's still, she's still very obviously dead and somewhat physically traumatized. But she looks as in a state of possible recovery. Just half of her face.
Because you let the other half live.
She knocks
Oh.
on the window.
Okay. I'm visibly surprised by her improved appearance, and I let her in again. I say, but I take her in, and then I say, look, kid, I'm before I take her in and I say, I have a lot of quick questions for you. Um, uh, who are those people who chase you away? What do they look like?
She says, "Oh, you mean the ones that come in the daytime?"
Yes, sure.
She says,
Hmm.
"They are very angry with me. They wear strange clothes."
They're angry with you?
Yes,
Why?
for coming close to you. I do not know if they hate you or love you, but they hold very close to you.
What sort of strange clothes?
She says, perhaps they are foreign.
How many of them?
There was one, and then there were two. Now there are three.
3? Do they have the same hair as me?
So,
Can
she
you
looks. Do you draw the scar from your face?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Do we?
Okay.
I forgot. Yeah, I removed
She
my...
seems awed by you, and she says, "You're so pretty." She says, "Yes, they are beautiful creatures, but dark and vengeful. Since they spend most of the daytime screaming at you.
Oh God.
Screaming. Do you hear what they say?
From where I stand, they are unintelligible, but I try to come and listen, but they chase me away."
Do they... During the daytime, where do you go?
Into the quiet.
Where's that?
I do not know. It is very quiet. The mist is thick there, and sometimes I see other children, and sometimes I see other people.
It's in the fucking trees.
Other people?
Yes.
Adults?
Yes, they are all lost, like me.
Because do you feel any different now? I touch the restored side of her face.
She leans into that caress, and there is a little bit of glimmer. There is a little bit of a glimmer in her eyes. She says, "Why, yes, I do feel lighter. I feel better." She says, when I looked in on you today, I could not follow where you went, but did you visit my home?"
Your home? I say... was that? I say, was that your home? I say, it might be. It might be your home.
You live in the stable.
She says,
Yeah, basically.
she says,
Why couldn't
I
you
don't-
follow?
"Those that surround you, they keep me away.
Oh, that's.
I do not know what you did there, but could you do it again?"
I can certainly try, kid.
She says, "That would be nice."
I take out the cameo of my parents and do they... is the bird with me in my dream? Oh, okay. Alright. I take out the cameo and then I show it to her.
Who is in this camera?
It's like a metal work, and then you can open and close with like a silhouette.
Are they just silhouettes or are they images?
Maybe like profile images.
Okay.
With the
Yeah,
but actually painted in. So they're actually,
yeah.
And then she says, "They were so beautiful."
So it is then.
She says,
Two.
"Yes,
And there's a third one.
yes,
Mm.
a strong woman."
I say, but why did they chase you the other last night. They
I
were,
do not know. You are theirs.
I say. Well, I can't promise anything for what I did in your home. I'll see if time might be off, but maybe you can still find me. Uh, for some reason you do. How did you know I was here? And why are you speaking to me specifically?
You were here when I came. That is all.
You haven't seen anyone else? Just me?
No. Well, at least you're the only one that let me in.
That what?
Ah.
That let me in.
Oh. I don't know.
Uh,
She says.
Do you-
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
are you not able to follow other people? Like the people in your home?
No. No, there's nothing to follow.
Do you miss anyone from your home?
That's it.
I miss hot soup.
That's so. I say,
Everything is just so cold here.
I say, well, I'll see what I can do to make you feel better.
I would like that very much.
You do look, well, much better than before.
I feel much better.
That's good.
She gives a smile, but it only half extends as the other half. You see that the muscle is sort of damaged. She seems to have been beaten, and so it sort of is a cracked smile on one side.
But she's no, all right. But she's not decomposing. Is
She is. She's
Ah,
very
okay.
obviously dead.
Okay. But half her face.
But half seems to be restored. I guess. More like a ghostly image than a zombie.
Okay. I visibly make a face when I see the smile. But I say, are you tired? You can nap if you want again.
She says, yes, please. It's the only time I can really sleep. And she-
What do you do in the daytime
I hide
from
from the creatures in the mist.
creatures? What are those?
I don't know, but I don't want to find out.
Wise.
Good girl. Go to sleep.
So she takes her spot with you again, and her rest continues.
And
You don't wake up screaming in the daytime.
Oh, nice.
had a good night.
Me too.
Yeah. High five.
I have my song. Yay.
As well, you are woken not by screaming, but instead by Banya when it's time to relieve Banya.
Okay. I said, hey, sup? Anything? I look at the doll. Where's the doll? Oh.
This is after, I suppose we
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
all woke up because we
Because
were
yeah,
napping.
Sadie was not
So, hey, it's better to wake up from, I was about to say it's better to wake up to laughing than to screaming, but I don't know in this case. So,
there.
still, nothing
Sometimes it's
bad
pretty
happened.
bad either
I
way.
think.
Yeah. Well,
Lesser evils, right? Lesser evils, right?
True.
How's your sleep? Went well?
Pretty well. It wasn't bad.
Any
Surprisingly.
fresh tingling on your back?
Is there?
No.
And then I will look sideways
not.
at her bird.
It seems to be
Yeah.
decaying in health, certainly. You don't know how much longer it's going to.
Also, has it been getting worse every
You
day?
get a new one when it dies.
That's true.
Has it been getting worse every day, or
Yeah,
but is it that noticeable, or I
I
don't
mean,
know?
I mean, it's not like super rapid decay, but it's in the way that a bird would starve to death. Yes,
Oh.
it's losing.
Okay.
It's
You are
beginning to
not a
lose its.
responsible
Oh my
pet
God.
owner.
It's beginning to lose its feathers.
Hey,
and
you
it's
can't
just
make your
sort of-
bird shit. It's not much you can do.
That's true. I think there's already like a rotten piece of a moldy piece of bread in it with like from the day we arrived here, and doesn't want to eat.
Did you let us know that you put the cameo and made it happy, or was it something you did on your own?
I did it, but I didn't really hide it.
Advertise it?
But I didn't. I guess I made the bird cry vlog at one point.
Like
No
any
big deal.
like any responsible
Like,
person.
I say I
At
showed
least you made it do something.
I showed an image of my family.
And it cried blood.
Yes, so I had to stop doing that. It was disturbing. I had to hide it away.
Yeah,
the
it
image
doesn't
of,
look like it has any blood to spare.
True, I've I don't know. It's hanging on. I'm not getting. It doesn't give me anything in particular. Physically, I don't feel anything aside from. I don't feel anything aside from the already existing.
Cuts on your...
That existing cuts on my back.
You're really already strong yet, buddy. Okay. Just in case, just in case. Is there anybody, because I figure we're both from the same city. Is there anybody you wanna, like you have any friends back home? Or?
Sword.
Oh, there's some dumb kid. No, I was kidding. There's like a newbie. No, I was kidding. I say some friends or some colleagues. Yes, you could call them friends, I guess. Acquaintances.
That degraded pretty quickly. Do you want to give them anything to let you know what happened to you if something is really bad?
Wow. Okay. Do you want to exchange
Yeah.
stuff? Are you sure you want to? I'm not.
I'm just thinking. This is the first time I've heard a Kamen Rider like say he laughed. And then I show her the drawing of the fox-looking stick figure in a tombstone with a line across it that doll made. I'll say, I'm a little optimistic, but if I'm going to start making a deal with another thing, that's probably going to be after more of things that compromise me in some way. I'm thinking maybe it will be best to be a little more careful in case I don't make it back.
In case you
Don't make it back.
I guess since you're here, I've said since we're both here.
I wasn't gonna. I guess I'd consider it a little bit lucky that it's someone else from Stormgate. That way, nobody's gonna have to make any expensive trips. They probably just run off with my stuff. So.
Fair
What do you
enough.
think?
Sure.
I'm a thief, but I won't run off with any of your stuff.
I think about it for a moment. Do you want to? So you're asking an exchange?
I'm asking first if you have anything that you wanna
Like to
give
bequeath
out.
in case
Last will and
yeah, in
testament.
case I die.
Or like a
Interesting.
note.
Interesting prospect. Sure.
Doesn't have to be now, but something to think about, I guess.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. What about you? Do you have any friends or do you have a group?
I wouldn't really call them a friends. Kind of like someone I found, fed,
Like a freeloader?
kind of, but then he's also gotten me out of a lot of situations I could have talked myself out of, so I guess he's kind of a friend. And
Sounds.
he's also fed. It's a lot easier to. That way people won't start asking you where your ears are. So.
Right. You do have yep.
Yeah, I make them twitch under my bandana to make a point. But I'm thinking maybe if you ever happen to see a big guy, usually wears a really dirty shirt around the dog.
That's kind of common in some.
That's true. Shit.
Maybe
And then I'll just say, tell you what. I'll prepare something tomorrow.
Sure.
Then if we make it through the night of tomorrow, I'll have something to give you by then.
Okay, maybe I should. As for you, my friends.
Or acquaintances, it's okay.
I do have
Stormgate
one
Hearts
particular trusted
acquaintance friend.
I look around to make sure no one's eavesdropping or something, and
Most of everyone seems to sleep.
I take him aside to like a hidden part. I say,
I'm about to crack a dirty joke, but I think better of it.
I dare you.
I know. Not with a woman who can probably break my spine.
I say,
Her wisdom's pretty low.
yeah.
Whole person.
I say, don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone else about this. Or
I raise my hand.
okay. I mean, does he look like he's not going to tell anyone what?
Hey, if I'm gonna want to
Okay.
ask you to press a message for me, I'm gonna be on your good side. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
And then I say,
That
in
was your
case-
first mistake.
I say, if I don't make it out of here, I'll unravel my tattoo in your arm.
Ooh, first time. Okay.
I say,
My
I think you'll know. I think you might. I say, if you're on that side of the law, then you're probably familiar with them.
What do I
Remove
see?
So you see this mosaic, I suppose, this almost painting of interwoven gang tattoos. Interwoven gang tattoos. It's
Gang.
sort of a sleeve tattoo that comes all the way up onto her shoulder. This gigantic, almost in almost the Shomori style, this golden carp that is swimming across this black sea.
Her entire arm is black with a golden carp on it.
It's like Yakuza
coming up
tattoos.
all the way up here.
It's not
It is
enchanted to
electric.
move or something. It's not enchanted to move or something, is it?
No, it's not. It's definitely just tattoo, but it's extremely it's an extremely extensive one, and definitely one of great artistry.
Do I know what this is? Where this is from?
It's probably painful.
You can go ahead.
Absolutely.
You
Luckily,
can go
you're
ahead and
resistant.
She has cuts on her back and she shrugs them off.
You rage.
you can go ahead and make a history check.
Ma'am, then you just can't get through.
No, no
Stop
advantage
doing that.
because I live in the same part of town.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, good.
good
This one is a
thing.
nat
Wow.
one.
Okay.
So that's
Nice.
history 18 plus
Wow,
321.
Right on. Okay. Yeah. You associate a lot of sea iconography has to do with the salty crossbones.
Oh.
One of the three major gangs of Stormgate. But this one might be a little more specific to the gang of
Shark beaters.
the Sharkbaiters.
It's a golden carp.
Yeah.
Or like orange-ish. Orange.
Golden, orange carp, one black. I see a black.
This is sort of this goes a little bit since your history is since the check was so good. You can tell that not only is it associated with the Salty Crossbones, but a specific subsidiary that has since been renamed to Blackbeard's Bow. Blackbeard's Bow.
Yeah.
How do you spell Blackbeard's
Bow.
Bow.
B-O-W.
B-O-O? So it's a subsidiary. Salty Crossbones is a subsidiary called Blackbeard's. What do I know of them?
The most, I suppose, the most significant thing about them that you would know right now
So I
is
know
that
it to be turned
they
out.
were very recently turned into the Blackbeard's Bow after they were taken over by the Salty Crossbones. So they were not a subsidiary before. They were the ones, the Sharkbaiters, which was a rival gang, and then taken over by their leadership was sort of cleansed through, and then Crossbones gang leaders were placed in positions of power in their organization, and then now now the Blackbeard's Bow, named after Blackbeard, the former gang leader of the Sharkbaiters. So sort of to remind him of their shame.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay.
And Blackbeard's Bow, as you know, is a reference to what they beheaded him.
Okay. Well, now that Vanya with all this knowledge, Vanya looks
Um,
very
um,
visibly impressed. He almost pistols, but then he covers up. Alright.
I say, well, if I don't make it alive,
Is there anything I can say so that they won't kill me when I try to approach them? I try to steer clear these people.
I say perhaps look for someone named North.
Or Sword.
Or sorry.
Not Sword.
Not sorry. If you see something sorry, walk in the opposite direction.
Just kidding. He's a new guy, and so doesn't really know the ropes.
He doesn't even know he's part of a gang.
Yeah, he doesn't even know it's part of it.
Lords of
Look for North Tabaxi. There's not a lot of
Tabaxi.
them in Storm, so
It's pretty okay.
you can definitely. He's. I can say he's everywhere. He will. I guess I'd give a.
Also
I'd
part
really
of
call it-
the
I'd give like a place where I know North goes.
frequency.
Well, you know that you last left him with the shattered spine, so he might.
Oh.
He might be.
I say. Oh yeah. I
Might have
say.
his eyes.
Oh
on
yeah.
that
I say.
area.
Yeah. I guess you can find him at the shattered spine. You can find him at the shattered spine.
Ah,
There's
nice
not.
place.
That's not a lot of. There's not a lot of tabaxi. So, I look through my things to give you so that
Alright.
to prove to hand over him. But yep, he's a
Acquaintance
good
friend.
of mine. So I think
Business partner.
He's not gonna probably shove me against the wall or something when I tell him that he didn't make it. Is he?
I say not him. He's not that type. Not him. But he's a more. His inclinations are not
Like mine?
of a brute. So I think you'll be fine. But I'll give you something to let him know if in case I don't make it.
Since you already told me, and I shoved my hands in my pockets and kind of locked in my heels, I can already, at least now, I can tell you, just in case you don't make it to tomorrow, I do have one friend. And I take out one hand and I cast a minor illusion of factory. Just in this usual, from the attire I last saw him in, which was a really dirty white sailor shirt and pants held up by a piece of rope. But the most noticeable features you'd see.
Your friend needs a belt.
Because, believe me, he likes breaking them for some reason. Tucks them too hard. It's more of the, I guess, the brutish. Yeah.
Not that we would have. Well, actually, both barbarians.
True.
I guess it has something like that in common, but. And then you'd notice that very distinct are the eye hooks from his. Right from the corner of the
You
eye.
see his ears?
Yeah.
Oh,
in
he's
this
like
one,
you. Kind
Yeah,
of.
it's kind of one of the reasons why I guess we got along. And then
Okay.
it's not a kitsune though. I don't know if you've ever met a tanuki, but that's him. I tell him to hide those things all the time, but
His
sometimes
ears.
he just forgets, and a lot of people are really inclined to question him about it because it's a bit of a temper. But if you ever happen to come across him when you
He
tell
looks unique. Yep. True enough.
he's more with his fists than his head.
Okay.
If what I would do if I was you, I'd offer him for let's find someplace cheap with a lot of meat. Gets him calm really,
Cheap
really
meat.
quickly. Right.
Right.
He will not beat up most people if it involves breaking whatever utensils are to eat the meat with. But
Okay.
then I'll be honest. I never told him about anything that I was kind of working on that gets me into trouble, but I wouldn't put it past him to, I mean, he's a bit of a knucklehead, but he does notice some things, so
Okay.
just maybe be a bit on your guard, because
Is he gonna try and punch me if he gets angry?
there
that
might
you're
be
dead,
some
or-
physical denial, very active physical denial. I'll think of something to give you to show him for it.
Alright. Sure.
Maybe a letter. I'm pretty sure he remembers most of how I taught him directions.
Let's go with a more foolproof plan. If he can, but yeah, alright. Are you affiliated with
With anybody?
Anyone?
I try not to be as much as unless
lone work.
it works out for me.
Okay, fair enough.
As far as I can see. Okay. Until I can find out a way to show Hakuri that you're not any sort of enemy or the person who actually offed me.
Yeah, true.
You can tell him that you know that I'm the one who gave him the name Hakuri because his real name is just Kuri. Which is kind of silly because it just means chestnut. I mean, I guess his parents weren't that creative. So.
Chestnut.
If you tell him that, it's never something either of us have ever told anyone yet. So.
I see.
I'll sleep on it.
Sure.
But it should be enough in case something happens.
Alright. Seems seems simple-minded. Might be easy to convince if should it come to that. We'll see. Hopefully not.
If he starts reaching for his axe, just steer a bit clear.
Okay.
Okay?
Right. Okay.
I hold out my hand, and then which arm had the tattoos? The right one? The left one?
Shit.
I believe it's
Right.
right.
Left. Sorry.
Maybe it's not.
Left.
Alright. Because I'll automatically reach out with my right hand, and then I look at the left hand, and I was like, oh, it's okay.
Okay. Shake on it, I guess. Okay, it's a deal, I guess.
So,
Thanks.
Well, hopefully we both make it. Looks like we both have
I don't
some
know about
business
you,
to
but I
attend
think
to.
I might have found a ticket to make sure I do. Or at least increase my chances.
Okay.
you'll go to bed.
I'll go to bed.
You'll take your watch. There's nothing unusual
Okay.
occurs in your watch.
From time to time, I make sure that the doll doesn't creep out of the bag.
If I catch
so you're
him-
actively watching for it to creep out of the bag?
No, just from time to time.
You go ahead and make a perception check.
Oh god. It's next to me. That's my distance.
Okay.
Not in my bed.
What percent? 14.
14, okay.
But aside from that, I'm also.
So you're roving around, you're looking around, and then you come by to the sleeping area, and you look down to make sure that nothing's going on, and you see the doll just sort of half out of the bag, and it sees you, and then it just comes back in.
But since no one's awake, my eyes actually widen, and I'm gripping my glaive tightly. Creepy little piece of
It goes
shit.
back into the bag. Closes the flap. Okay.
I exhale my cold breath.
Seigi, you dream.
Oh.
That's the first.
Second, I think you were the one who dreamt of the tower. Were you?
Ah, right.
Oh,
That
yeah,
was the first time the book
Abbott.
came out.
High above a river valley juts a quiet promontory upon which looms a sepulchral mansion. Its turrets capped with fairy tale cones, its towers lined with sculpted battlements. A third structure has collapsed, as has part of the roof, but the rest appears intact. A dark octagonal tower rises above the surrounding architecture. Out of the fog comes a distant peal of thunder, quickly accompanied by the howling of wolves in the woods below. But the house stands silent, seemingly like like the fossilized remains of some long-dead thing smote upon the mountainside. A figure stands basically in the driveway where you pull up in the carriages. Slender, athletic, tall, rigid, in a cloak of silvery gray. He is perhaps about 60 feet from you, walking towards the banner, which you see now.
He's wearing a what kind of cloak?
Gray silvery cloak.
It's like a dead wingman.
the time of day appears to be daylight. It's as bright as you've ever seen.
Oh.
I mean, it's not like open sky, but it's as bright as you've seen. It's as bright as you've seen Barovia so far. It's still overcast.
I want to enjoy this. From here.
And you see him sort of walk past what appears to be a statue of a dragon in the courtyard. Perched atop a 10-foot wide, 10-foot high cube of granite, a moss-covered statue of a dragon. Its wings stuck close to its body.
Okay.
The statue looks eastward towards the mansion. The mansion appears abandoned, appears quiet, desolate. Nothing. Not a sound. You hear everything that is going on around you. You see and you feel the wind upon your face, but everything sort of has this layer upon it that sort of muffles it just slightly. Sound seems echoey and underwater. The wind upon your face, it just feels more like pressure than it does an actual caress of wind. But you gather enough to know what things are, and so when you hear wolves howl, you know that it's a wolf's howl. And you walk. I don't know.
I would follow.
Okay. He walks into the manor. Flagstone steps, flanked by stone railings, climb to a landing in front of a pair of tall wooden doors with rusted iron bands and knockers shaped like small dragons.
Okay.
He walks into the foyer. This room feels like a king's tomb. A grand staircase leads up to stone balconies, held aloft by stone pillars and arches. A tall, faded tapestry depicting a nobleman in silver armor hangs from an iron rod above the staircase landing. 6 sets of double doors lead from this foyer along the walls, displayed on marble pedestals. Displayed on marble pedestals are 3 alabaster busts of handsome men. A 4th bust and its pedestal have been knocked over, and their shattered remains lie strewn across the mosaic floor.
Oh no.
2 chandeliers of wrought iron hang from the ceiling like monstrous black spiders. You see the man look down. You hear a rumble of parchment and paper as he brings out what appears to be a lengthy, seems to be a rather large piece of parchment. And you see him look down, consult upon it, look up at each of the doors.
Can I follow and somewhat look at the parchment?
Okay. You come up behind him, and you see
He's cloaked up.
Yes, he's cloaked up. So yeah, you come up over his shoulder. You feel ethereal. You feel weightless almost. You don't hear the sound of your boot upon the stone. You look upon yourself. You can see yourself quite solidly, but when you whisk your hand through the air, there is no sound. When you walk, your clothes make no rattle, and because of that, you don't need to make any stealth check because he does not notice you at all. And you look over his shoulder, and it seems to be sort of a rough sketch of what the layout of what this manor might be.
Can I make perhaps an intelligence check or investigation check to sort of memorize it? Like immediately I take note. When I wake up, I write this down.
Okay, take it.
This is the most dream journaling.
Yeah,
Okay, sure. You can go ahead and make an intelligence check. Let's say if you have, because I want to use your proficiency, let's use your investigation check.
Make a police sketch.
Yeah. Hopefully you have better drawings next time. Sure.
I have good map making.
Nat 20.
Excellent. Okay.
24 total.
24 total. Okay. You see how you see the rough sketch of this place, and it is quite a large place. It doesn't seem like he sketched much detail other than what he appears to be looking for, because
So he's like going for something.
yeah, he's going for something specific, and so he's not so much looking at each door to find out which way he's going, so much as eliminating what is not on his map. So it's sort of this half-drawn sketch of only what he needs, and so he's just sort of matching it. Does this go in the direction that I'm looking for? No. So yeah, so he he finally pinpoints the door that he wants to go to, and he proceeds down that hall.
I follow.
As he walks down the hallway, which is completely pitch black, he lights a torch. Obviously a creature unable to see in the dark. A great shadow with wings moves across the entirety of the hallway, sort of eclipsing. The image of it is as if you were standing outside and something of great size blocked out the sun.
Does it seem like it's following?
No, it passes.
It passes through
The entire hallway, and his torch, the fire of his torch goes in that direction as the wind catches. You hear a soft bestial hiss in the darkness, and a rumble of a voice stirs from beyond, and it says, "You should not be here, foreigner." He speaks out.
Do I note that it's towards him or towards me?
Who the
voice.
The voices? You're not entirely sure, but regardless of what the answer to that question is, it is the man in your dream that answers. He says, "There is someone I'm looking for. I seek to do no harm, only an audience."
Do I recognize the accent?
Oh, gosh.
Okay. So he, out of the shadows steps two plate armored individuals.
Oh.
Their plate obviously rusted and tarnished from lack of use. You can hear them sort of as they move. This clawing screech of metal against metal of this rust as they walk towards him, and he raises his hand, not unwilling to do any violence, but they don't seem to heed that sign of peace, and they just draw swords. Either of them. He continues to protest up until they're perhaps about 30 or so feet away from him. And as soon as they get that far, and the combat ensues in that particular hallway now.
Magic.
It's magic. A creature walks out from behind him, also behind you because you're directly behind him. This creature now obviously was once human. You see the figures, the shape of the features, all of it sort of points in the direction of being human, but gaunt, thin, unnaturally so, up to the point that you can almost see the spine at the back. You can see that its face features have sort of been sucked in and then dried out, pruny now, and white. The hair is just in strips now, bald in most patches, skull open on one side already. And he rasps, "You should not be here either." And this one is not in plate, he's in robes. And he brings out his hand and blue flame begins to catch.
Am I capable of summoning my bow?
Yeah, so you'll fight.
I will first ask. I was not here of my own accord, and I was merely here to observe.
He says, regardless of your intentions, you are a trespasser. And I say, if you wish to leave, he steps aside. I will grant you that mercy.
And I look back, and I just take note of the area, and I look at the man. He's still fighting.
He appears to be winning. He's making progress now, and obviously he has spotted something that perhaps buoys his spirit, because he's fighting harder than ever now, because he's sort of pushing past to reach his destination, which appears to be close at hand.
I walk past the guy towards the exit, but just out of curiosity, I fire an arrow at the cloaked individual.
Cloaked individual.
The one who's asking you to go?
You can go ahead and make an attack roll.
No, the guy who
was
fighting with the plate people.
Wait, hold that. Let me just. I'll just